Shall we begin?
Oh, well.
Wow, wasn't that fun?
9 to noon.
Big boy's back! Like that! And that's a fact.
Good stuff.
You homer!
Howdy now. All righty, 9 to noon goes to full strength. That's debatable. Always were. It's Paul Allen by your side at FM 100.3 KFAN. Good morning. Nordo produces. And if you had a super special business meeting between like 8 and 9 in the morning, or maybe you were tied up with the kids, closing week of school or something like that, or maybe the non-distraction related facets of your lives kept you away from social media or your favorite radio station, FM 100.3, KFAN. A, welcome back. But B, you missed a doozy. You missed a whopper. He's JJ, and he just got paid, mad producer.
Welcome back, JJ.
37 seconds to go in the first half. 1st and 10, Vikings back to the 26. Mullen shotgun, 3 receivers, right, 1 left. Hawkinson goes in motion. Lions blitz. It's all picked up. Make him pay, Nick. Come on. He rolls out to the right. Throws to the end zone. Caught. There you go. Touchdown. He's JJ. And how we've missed that gritty. It's 17-13 Lions.
Courtesy of Tom Pelissero, also Ian Rappaport, Rap Sheet via NFL Network. If you did indeed miss it, the Minnesota Vikings and superstar wideout Justin Jefferson have agreed to terms on a 4-year, $140 million contract extension, including $110 million in guarantees. He's still only 24 years old. Jefferson is now the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. So over the last couple of weeks, we're dealing with Malik Neighbors / trade-up rumor terrorism. Will the deal ever get done? Well, it was almost done before the start of the 2023. What's going on?
At least they say.
At least they say.
At least they say the Malik Neighbors situation was on the table.
And so now fast forward to today. We don't have to wait till the first day of training camp. We don't have to wait until the last day of training camp. We're not fiddling around with 5th-year option numbers and what a franchise tag looks like for Justin Jefferson. All those catches, all those yards, all those touchdowns, all those gritties is locked in. And for this extension, it will be, PA, through the 2028 season. Now, Rap Sheet and Pelissero, they announced it. Schefter's got a lot of intel out there, so feel free to go read more about it. But how about Justin Jefferson, courtesy of his social media account, telling us himself? JJ announced it. It's about 1 minute, 18 seconds. Let's listen to Justin Jefferson.
The time has finally come. The deal I've been waiting for since I was a little kid. Being doubted my whole career, not being highly recruited, not being the first receiver off the draft board. This whole journey wasn't easy for me. First off, I want to thank the man above. Without God, this wouldn't be possible at all.
Amen.
To be given a gift to play football at the highest level, it's a blessing. It's an honor. My mom and dad, thank you. This is a journey for all of us, and y'all still with us every step of the way. To my brothers, Ricky and Jordan, y'all are everything. Y'all made me who I am today. This is a new step in our journey, a new step in life. Always dreamt of this moment, and to now share it with all of y'all, a dream that we all had. It's a blessing. Kevin O'Connell, Kwesi, the Wilfs, I appreciate y'all for giving me this opportunity. Ben, my agent, thank you for getting this deal done. Last but not least, thank you to the fans. Y'all set the tone, y'all set the mood, y'all set the energy, and I'm definitely excited to set that energy for 5 more years. Thank you, all of the ones that supported me throughout the whole way. This is the start of it, but we ain't done yet.
We ain't done yet.
Oh, my gosh.
We ain't done yet. What's that mean?
Above average at that.
What's
Just
that mean?
getting started, PA.
What's that mean? We ain't done yet. Okay. Shame on those of you, if indeed you do exist, who doubted Justin Jefferson. I mean, full ride to LSU, first round pick, greatest wide receiver draft in the history of the NFL, 2020. Okay. Judy, Ruggs, and Brandon Ayuk. Oh, excuse me. Ayuk is on fire. But it was Jalen Reagor. All right, 3-2. Ruggs, Judy, Jalen Reagor definitely should not have been selected ahead of Justin Jefferson. CeeDee Lamb shouldn't have been selected ahead of Justin Jefferson, but that's more of a conversation where you actually could fill part of a segment going back and forth about it. But Justin was the cream of the crop in the greatest wide receiver draft in the history of the National Football League. So shame on those doubting in the first place, specifically somebody as gifted as Justin Jefferson. And he's en route to becoming the greatest wide receiver in the history of Minnesota Vikings football. And that would entail passing the likes of Randy Moss and Chris Carter. And the only way to get to said accolades involves several things. One, him being here. So with the new deal, he's going to be here longer. Secondly, an elongated career like Chris Carter had with the Minnesota Vikings to continue to crack immortality-like records. And thirdly, with We've Only Just Begun, copyright Karen Carpenter, or There's So Much More to Be Done, copyright Justin Jefferson, then bringing a Super Bowl with all that cachet and all that cash as the highest paid non-quarterback in the National Football League, which means he surpassed Nick Bosa of the San Francisco 49ers, who I believe gets $34 million a year on average.
Yes.
Then bringing a Super Bowl to the state of Minnesota. He's part of it. It's a team game. It's 11 on 11. And A has to get to B, which has to get to C, which has to get to D. But eventually, we get to J, which is Jefferson. And as potentially the best overall receiver in the National Football League, he's a big part of helping the Minnesota Vikings win a Super Bowl for the first time in the history of the franchise. So 9 to noon has to assume, we have to postulate when he says we ain't done. Hopefully that's what he means, right?
I'm so happy that this part of the story is done, but being that we have just begun, absolutely. That's the key with JJ since minute one. Big smiles, big plays on the field. But you can tell with JJ, there's a simplicity to it. And the audio that I just played for you, we don't get to partake in that joy of getting the record-setting, life-changing money, an entire family potentially impacted by this moment.
Can't say that when I was growing up, I ever dreamed of like getting a grandiose deal. Like he's like, I've dreamt of this all my life, something like that.
Right.
I don't know. I usually run away from contract negotiations before I dream about them. I don't know about you, but that's our lot in life, man.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to read too deeply into the words or into the way that he laid everything out. I think as most kids, we dreamed of bottom of the ninth, 2 out, 2 on, need a home run to win it.
Yep.
The game-winning goal, the title-winning touchdown, etc. But we don't get to partake in that joy that you heard in the video, but we win by keeping one of the most electric players in the NFL on the field. And for us, again, thinking about all the conversations we've had, all the text messages that we've received being, hey, what's going on with JJ? What's up with JJ? Does he want to be traded? Are things negative in the house right now? What's going on with number 18? Mm-hmm. Everybody can take a collective deep breath and just go, this is done. Now it truly can begin and start talking about McCarthy to Jets. What is that going to look like? Darnold to Jefferson. week one. What is that going to look like? How does this team get better in 2024? I heard during the power trip, I played it on Friday, PA, some Jordan Addison audio. Now we can, and what he's working on into year two. Now, truly, as Vikings conversations persist, as mandatory minicamp gets underway this week, we can actually start putting those pieces together. And we were already confident about it, but putting JJ into that mix, not contract mysteriousness, we can push that away and just start talking about Vikings football. This is awesome.
And minicamp is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. 9 to noon, we'll be there Tuesday and Wednesday. So tomorrow and Wednesday at the Vikings facility, hopefully an opportunity to advance this with the likes of a general manager or coaches or maybe even Justin Jefferson. Who knows? But once again, if you were out of the loop, somewhere over the next hour or last hour and change, the Minnesota Vikings and Justin Jefferson have come together on a grandiose deal, much to the chagrin of those around the league who have to check him. But to no surprise, with 9 to noon, this is something, even with the Wolves giving us that month and a half out of nowhere of that wonderful storyline in the Western Conference Finals.
Amazing run.
I mean, even through all of that, speaking for you, speaking for me, speaking for 9 to noon, this was like never on our minds. I mean, personally speaking, I always knew it would take place. I didn't know when. I didn't care when. But, hey, I guess there were some that were concerned about it. So now there's no more reason to be concerned.
Yeah, until the ink is dry, there's always a level of unknown. It wasn't something that was on the front of my mind, but still, I'm excited to get things like this done. As a Vikings fan, I'm not interested in talking about money deals and contracts and all of that. I want to talk about things that we know, things that we can look at, how the team wins. And the team wins and has a chance to win with JJ on this team. It has nothing to do with how much money he's making. We just need number 18 to be happy. That Wolves run providing the perfect, I mean, it was like a storybook, kind of nothing else mattered for almost the totality of the month. I still miss it as well.
I miss it.
And I miss it because it came to an absolute thud of a halt. Game 5 in front of the home crowd. But Justin Jefferson, man, such a good dude. And he, in a very short period of time, has, I think, materially changed this franchise for the better.
Yeah.
And the ability to keep him in the stable, and as we're trying to raise a kid from Michigan as the next potential Vikings QB, that having that asset, not only as a player but as a guy, is tremendous. So I'm just glad there's finality to it. I think that's the key. And
I guess if what's next is part of the program, if like you're forward thinking with like, all right, well, what's next to take Love, which is good, and make it stronger with Justin Jefferson re-signed? I guess Christian Darrisaw would be next on the worryometer. On the worryometer.
I don't worry about that. Do you?
No, I didn't worry about the Jefferson deal. You don't. I mean, there needs to be credit given for how secretive so many people kept the negotiations with Justin Jefferson, and how you got a lot of leaks, but none of them are right.
Correct.
So therefore, now you got people who want to be at the forefront. They want to be first with things. So they may get like if it's a Thanksgiving Day meal, all right, the Jefferson deal is the turkey.
Okay.
But then on the side, you have the ancillary items. Now, those would include what happens if you don't sign him? Would he really have the stomach to sit out a season if you eyeballed him and said, we're going to give you the franchise tag after the season? But then when the gizzard, the worst part of a Thanksgiving meal pops up, for some it would be the cranberry sauce. I don't know what it would be.
I'm out on cranberry sauce, so that's it for me.
There we go. When that thing with Malik Neighbors popped up, so I'm like looking at it going, all right, so let me get this straight. So the Vikings might have traded for Malik Neighbors, but didn't have a Justin Jefferson deal in place.
Yeah.
To trade him.
That's where I let the tryptophan take over, and I'm going to take a nap.
People are just trying a little too hard with this to get people to pay attention to them or something.
Wake me up when it's time for pie.
Wake me up when it's time to go, as in him going, gone, which never was going to happen. I mean, 9 to Noon tried to lay that out as delicately and as respectfully as we could, in that he's never going to leave.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how he stays. Well, now we know that he's going to stay, so get those game-worn 18s ready for the game at the Giants where you beat Danny Dimes and you come home, you beat C.J. Stroud, and he's making so much money. Justin just got so much money, maybe it will be mandated he plays at least a half in every preseason game.
I always love that.
You got to earn that money, man.
The one thing that did pop into my head over the last month or so was the fact that all these other receivers were getting deals. So I'm kind of playing that game a little bit. Waddle just got, 70 or maybe even low 80s guaranteed.
Like producers here at the Fan. Hawkey gets a number. Well, then JG, Tenabe, and Nordo.
Right.
Well, they got to get a number bigger than Hawk's number.
Well,
and it's a never-ending vicious cycle between you fools.
Hawk gets the JJ number, and I get the Ben Skowronek number.
No, you don't.
So
Thayer Thomas.
So you gotta know your role in that respect. But looking at all those deals, and so it's kind of the idea of resetting the market when you get a contract. So Vikings haven't gotten this deal done with JJ. Ooh, look what A.J. Brown just got in an extension. I mentioned Jalen Waddle, all of these things. And now CeeDee Lamb, you mentioned him. CeeDee Lamb, for you might say JJ's a better receiver than CeeDee Lamb. Well, they use CeeDee Lamb like we use JJ, and that's going to be a fat ticket. So you're thinking, well, maybe that's why this is pushing out, is because they're waiting. Well, I heard Pelissero with the power trip, and I think he laid it out perfectly. He's like, no, they weren't competing with Tyreek Hill money. They were competing with Nick Bosa money.
Yeah.
And so the idea of watching these receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, nice start to his career, really clicks with Jared Goff, and a tremendous find for the kiddies in Detroit. He gets $30 million guaranteed a season. JJ's camp, and even the Vikings knew for a minute, Amon-Ra can sign that deal anytime. That's not going to impact where we're going with this thing, which was always to find himself in the stratosphere of the highest paid non-quarterback. Speaking of week 1, I think JJ makes more money than Daniel Jones now. So
at the combine, I think it was the combine, when the general manager, Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, said, we believe he's the best non-quarterback in the National Football League. I wonder if those controlling the purse strings were like, mother!
Oh my gosh.
Stop going to play into it!
Stop giving away our leverage. You can't say that and then not make him the highest paid non-QB in the NFL. So, but those were things that I was thinking about is, Waddle's getting a ton of cash. How are they going to pay both those guys and figure out how to give Tua some money on the side?
Cousins got 100 promised, JJ 110. Hey, I'm sorry, go.
No, absolutely. And I mean,
if we're going to play the petty, he got this, I get this, you got this, I got to go here. Well, then I can play the petty game too.
Well, I think that's how they play it, though, PA.
No,
it's 100% of this. It's a statement almost to your status within the league, and frankly, I mean, in our lives as well, we attach value. And that value is in the form of payment of some sort, salary, benefits, all of those things. We attach value. We ask for value associated with our work.
Fair.
For a guy that has proven to be, specifically over the last 2 seasons in Kevin O'Connell's offense, he has been the most important cog, save for obviously Kirk getting him the ball. He is the biggest moneymaker on this team. He should probably get a market-setting deal. And congratulations to JJ.
Especially those games he missed last year where we lost every one.
I always love that one.
Oh, wait a second. We won every one.
I always love that one.
Anyway, so that, all right. 9 to noon is at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center tomorrow and Wednesday. 9 to noon on campus. Mini camp week. And that means Justin Jefferson will be at mandatory minicamp. He skipped either all or part of organized team activities last year, but was there for mandatory minicamp. And yours truly, the cartoon character, gets back into the Minnesota Vikings and football groove with the Timberwolves dead. And you know what? We'll get over to TCOPC tomorrow and Wednesday, and hopefully the kids will stream the bleep out of it. Maybe we'll be live on Instagram talking about Minnesota Vikings football and the best receiver in the NFL, in Justin Jefferson. All right, 3-2. So we'll be happy to be there, hoping to run down some luminaries, looking forward to watching some 11-on-11. And Darnold, relatively high speed versus the Flores defense. That'll be fun. Then the shutdown, which is longer than ever this year for the Minnesota Vikings. They got 3 days of minicamp, and it generally is 2. Then they're gone until training camp and like 7 weeks of nonstop chill. But 7 weeks of nonstop chill where obviously they got to get the minds and the bodies ready for training camp. But during the nearly 2 months of non-Minnesota Vikings on the field activities, like Nordo said earlier, we don't have to ponder this Justin Jefferson made-up angst. He's back in the mix. He's one of us. You doubted him. Now he's here.
What an abyss talker that would be.
No.
I'd
take days off before I talk about that. I ain't kidding you.
Will he be back?
What do you talk about?
It's the countdown to camp.
What do you talk about? I mean, it's either you get, okay, well, talkbacks are available. Free iHeartRadio app. Let's just lay it out like this, all right? And see where your minds and your hearts go. Justin Jefferson has been re-signed by the Minnesota Vikings, meaning unless something goes dramatically amiss, he'll be a Minnesota Viking until 2028. He received requisite money that makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in the National Football League. So it's $35 a year on average for him, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, Nick Bosa with the San Francisco 49ers, he gets 34. So beat him on the field on Monday Night Football. Beat him with the pocketbook and the checkbook when you're signing JJ. All right, 3-2. So, what does this mean to you? I mean, like, were people losing sleep, worried Justin Jefferson wouldn't be part of the team? Did you happen to purchase game-worn Malik Neighbors jerseys, thinking that maybe that flim-flam would like come full circle and maybe we'd get a second chance to a first chance that never really existed? And for Billy, Johnny, Christy, Susie, Tamika, and Antoine, everybody growing up playing sports, loving the likes of Justin Jefferson, dust off those game-worn 18s, and I'll see you at MetLife Stadium. He's JJ. Darnold fires deep left side, caught by Jefferson, touchdown. That's all I got. I mean, JJ's back in the mix. I never thought he wouldn't be in the mix. I never thought it would come to, does he have the stomach to sit out and not take the franchise tag? I didn't know when. Nobody knew when. Everybody did a great job in-house and with the Jefferson contingent of keeping all the particulars quiet. I mean, when you got .com Tom Pelissero, Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, when you have individuals like that, Jeremy Fowler, YA, Ben Gessling, Mark Craig, when you have constituents like that on the story, I mean, you got to keep your P's and Q's right, man. You got to keep everything quiet or something of legitimacy may leak, like trading for Malik Neighbors, even though you don't have a trade partner for Justin Jefferson.
I always love that one.
But it's over. How excited are we?
I am excited. Again, I don't want to underplay. I know that we were always confident he was going to be here, PA. Mm-hmm. But I can't underplay the lack of finality there for Vikings fans. And I'm totally with you. Mm-hmm. And I've talked about the idle hands idea of in lieu of news, we can get really creative with rumors. We can get really creative with alternative routes. At one point prior to the draft and prior to free agency conversations about what could you get in the draft for Justin Jefferson if you were going to move on from him because of that big dollar, because of the fact that it wasn't signed. So I can't underplay the lack of finality to it, but now it's here. But and with that and now that it's here, now we again just take a deep breath and let's move on to to what Darnold looks like in this offense.
Yes.
Like I have some audio I'll play during Vikes Bites. Shaq Griffin, potentially new comedian on this team,
Really?
but figuring out how to run the ball more effectively. Reisner potentially competing for a left guard spot with Blake Brandel.
Oh, yeah.
Or is Brandel competing with Ed Ingram for a right guard spot? How all of those things work. And you're right, for 7 weeks, there's no chance we were going to spend maybe even half of one segment sweating the idea of this deal not being done if it hadn't been signed today. But in the end, I like the finality. I like getting back to just talking about now
Back to football.
everything that we have and the actual things that impact wins and losses. One of the good ones happens to now be back in the stable for another 4 years. Loving that.
Yeah.
But this team and how they get better off the 7-10 and all of that, now that gets to dominate the conversation. So when we're at TCO tomorrow, PA, it's not, hey, is Justin Jefferson participating? Like, is he in town? Anybody
Yeah.
seen him?
Yeah.
You know, we don't have Thomason anymore, so no one's at the airport terminal checking the arrival times. Is he around? We don't get to talk. Now we get to talk about, are you kidding me with this Dallas Turner cat? Are you serious how athletic this kid looks? Did we actually get deeper in pass rush talent with the moves we make despite not having Danielle Hunter? We get to have awesome looks at a team without trying to worry about any of the contract junk.
9 to noon is in the air, and the Minnesota Vikings and Justin Jefferson have come together on a contract extension. As it's written here at ProFootballTalk.com, blow the horn, Vikings. After months of back and forth, on and off negotiations, the Vikings and receiver Justin Jefferson have a deal. For multiple reports, 4-year extension, $35 million per year in new money, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Coupled with his 2024 compensation of $19.7 million. It's a 5-year, $159 million deal that pays $31.94 million per year from signing. And the deal reportedly includes $110 million in total guarantees, with $88 million of it fully guaranteed at signing. But that's before taxes. Congratulations, JJ. Congratulations, Vikings. And congratulations, Jefferson and Minnesota Vikings fans. Courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com. Joe Smith from The Athletic and TheAthletic.com is going to join at 10 o'clock. Also, a dear friend of mine named Eric Grams will be in studio at 11. This is going to be a sad story, but it's going to be a story of resiliency and of closure. That'll take place at 11. And around the corner, young Max Fuller was set to join 9 to noon to chat about some things. He'll still stop by, but we'll change the plan a little bit with Nordo producing and yours truly, Paul Allen. Here they come. Thank you, TimberTech and TimberTech.com. You're listening to 9 to noon. Well, the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's just the ways and means become rearranged. Welcome back to 9 to noon. About 15 minutes before the radio show, we and all of us learned the Vikings and Justin Jefferson had gotten together on a grandiose deal. And to discuss that and much more, including what the original plan was 9 to noon, it was going to go like this, 3-2. Maxine Nightingale once sang, "Love is good, love can be strong. We got to get right back to where we started from." Now, Tuesday and Wednesday, 9 to noon's at TCOPC, Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. We're on campus for minicamp week. That Wolves extended play love was good and hopefully becomes even stronger. But this is bread buttering season for 9 to noon. The Vikings, the corner offices, get the cartoon character back into Vikings football and the football groove. And let's see if the kids stream the bleep out of it. We will be happy to be there, hopefully running down some luminaries, watching maybe some 11 on 11. Then shut that sucker down for a while until training camp. Holy cow. Get us to Cleveland and the joint practices and some J.J. McCarthy opposite Myles Garrett just a couple of times. Bill Musgrave is with Cleveland. Pretty sure he coordinates their running game these days. So he'll have some chick nub traps that might lead to some oohs and some ahs. But the Minnesota Vikings know that they will have Justin Jefferson under a under the umbrella of a new contract when they head into the preseason. So then you beat Danny Dimes, then you beat C.J. Stroud, and you move into it, hopefully 2-0, and all that will be unbelievably fun, just like the month and a half we had with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the Hal gave us a month and a half of fun. The run also sparked the emergence of KFAN's Max Fuller, a producer and regular contributor of the wildly successful Power Trip Morning Show. Maxwell hosted our Fan Line show, pregame and Fan Line, but the Fan Line called Howlin' with the Homies, and coined a phrase. What was that phrase?
Hootie hoo!
That led KFAN to making T-shirts and displaying said slogan. That's how fired up we and all were into the Minnesota Timberwolves Western Conference Finals run. And Fuller analyzed the game at a very high level and did so with Parker Fox, a current Golden Gophers power forward. Young Maxwell is here to share some of that knowledge and more with us, including his reaction and deeply rooted emotions over the knowledge that we have secured this morning that Justin Jefferson has been re-signed by the Minnesota Vikings. What do you think of that? And good morning.
And buenos dias to you, PA and Nordo. I'm stoked, man. I mean, Justin Jefferson, obviously we know how good of a player he is, but it's so important for the fan base to just stick on and hang on to a guy like that. We all love Justin Jefferson. He's not a diva. He's one of the best in the league, probably the best in the league. And he just brings so much joy. Much like Anthony Edwards for the Timberwolves, he just brings so much joy to this town and to this team, and it makes it easy to root for him. He's the face of the league. I mean, every kid on planet Earth knows how to do the gritty at this. I don't even know. I wish we could get him to teach me. I don't know how to do it, but every single kid under the age of like 14 knows how to do it. Everybody loves him, so it's good to see him get what he's owed, and I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the Vikings because usually we like to think, well, we can't have nice things in this town. Well, we can. We got the Minnesota Timberwolves and we got Justin Jefferson, baby.
Cue the 2024, 2023, 2024, 2024, 2025 cliched summer talker abyss, the Mount Rushmore bit, where we have four. I mean, we with Justin Jefferson, Anthony Edwards, Kirill Kaprizov, and now your guy Royce Lewis returning tomorrow. Ooh. I mean, that would make up the Mount Rushmore. So we may not have titles outside of the Professional Women's Hockey League and some things the Lynx have done in the past, but as the core four goes, the ones that people pay attention most to, Vikings, Timberwolves, Wild, and Twins, we got a core four for Mount Rushmore. We got the faces. We just ain't got the rings.
Exactly. We got the youth movement going on. This is like 70s Motown right now. We just got hit makers on every single group that we got. I mean, it's so much fun. And again, like we like to think we can't have nice things in this town. Every single one of our team has a core piece. Like we're used to having the straw house and the three little piggies that gets blown down. Well, we got our building blocks to build around in this city for years to come. All these dark days, they're far behind us, man. We got nothing but a bright future ahead of us.
Well, the original reason I asked you to come by was to say thank you and congratulate you for the wonderful work you did for the month and a half with the pregame show and Howlin' with the Homies. And because when you splash the way you did, you're going to get some of the bitter variety who don't like certain things about the approach or the hootie hoo or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I got some of them in my DMs. I got called every slur in the book over the last couple of weeks.
But it's my belief that those would be missing the forest for the trees, because I just wanted to congratulate you on an emergence of an identity. It's identity in this game is what lasts and stands the test of time and eventually makes you some money. And you jumped in there, grabbed that metaphorical bull by the horns, man. Did it the way you thought was best to do it. Took some coaching from behind the scenes here. And I just, at the end of it, man, I mean, it had to be such an adrenaline rush for you doing the pregame and howling with the homies, and you're up super late taking fan line calls and stuff like that. I mean, there had to be a dramatic down for you, like when it was done, like, wow, I mean, yeah, I'm a little tired, and yeah, that was a lot of work and everything, and I still don't have a car, and we can work on that as we move forward.
Got a bike though.
I got a bike, but are you missing it?
Yeah, I miss that feeling, man. I mean, I kept saying it over and over again. That's the dragon that I'm chasing forever. That Target Center feeling was just so incredible, and it's so surreal to me. I didn't want to call it a Cinderella run for the Timberwolves because they're built for it, and they're going to keep doing it. I'm the one that felt like Cinderella, and I'm back to being a freaking pumpkin. But it was so much fun. I'm so grateful, and it's never not lost on me. Like, I literally used to be a janitor at the Target Center, and that's respectable work, that's honorable work. But I never ever thought in my life that I would be broadcasting, doing radio, doing TV from that very same building, talking about my favorite team. So it was thrilling. It was the time of a lifetime, not just because of how they lit the city up, but just, it did wonders for me. And it's been so awesome. And I'm so lucky to be a part of a good team with you guys like you and Nardo, learning at you guys' knees and stuff like that. I wouldn't be able to do any of the stuff I'm doing without teammates like you guys. So I'm super grateful. But yeah, it was the thrill of a lifetime. It was absolutely amazing. But now I'm back to being a pumpkin.
I was hoping the Jefferson deal would pop in the second half of that Wolves-Dallas game.
I always love that one.
I mean, we needed an attention diversion to pick up the spirits. I mean, we are blessed to have 4 professional sports teams. At least that's the way I look at it, doing the show, and for what I prefer when it comes to viewing or listening and stuff like that. I've just always been a pro sports guy. So we're privileged and blessed, if that's what you like for a diversion, to have those 4 teams.
Yeah.
But the ups and the downs with the team, man, they always provide something new. You got the Minneapolis Miracle, first touchdown at Philly. Then you get outscored 38-zip the rest of the way, something like that. This Timberwolves run and the way it ended. My man Darby Hendrickson got fired by the Minnesota. How do you fire Darby Hendrickson?
Right.
But never with a year left on his deal. But that's part of the mix. And through it all, it's still, granted, no titles, but unbelievable storylines year after year after year after year. And I said it to Nordo earlier in the first segment with the Timberwolves. I just, find myself missing that vibe because for a month and a half, I mean, Blake Cashman from the Minnesota Vikings, quality linebacker, quality player, quality run stopper. Can't wait to watch him change games. Ain't prepared to talk about him May 10th.
I always love that
one. Justin Jefferson. Let's see. Will the Minnesota Vikings possibly let one of the great players in the history of the organization and the NFL leave?
I always love that one.
That's Tuesday. What's Wednesday?
I always love that one.
Were they really going to make a move for Malik Neighbors? Are we going to extend that for 10 minutes? Well, that's Wednesday. Right. What's Thursday? Does Justin have the stomach to eyeball the Minnesota Vikings? Let's see, when? 2 years from now. I don't even know what I'm doing Thursday, but let's start worrying about 2 days from now, 2 years from now. Does he have the stomach to eyeball an organization that wants to put the franchise tag on him and sit out an entire year?
I always love that one.
Well, that's May 12th. But fortunately, none of that was in play because of your hootie hoo how and what they gave us for a month and a half.
I know. We already would have been breaking down every throw that J.J. McCarthy has had at minicamp and anointing him the next Tom Brady by now and would have been sick of it. It was such a blessing from our standpoint as media people and just from the city, man. The whole city was lit up. Everybody made money off the Timberwolves. Everybody was just starry-eyed and filled with hope, yelling hootie hoo out of their car windows. It was a blast, man. And I'm not ready to, I find myself missing it too, especially the last couple of days you're not thinking about it, you're kind of getting out of your mind, but then you remember damn, the NBA Finals are on Thursday and the Timberwolves are not in it, and it just hurts so much. I was turning on First Take, watching the talking heads talk about is Anthony Edwards the next Michael Jordan. I'm like, you right, you damn right he is, Stephen A. And now I can't stand to watch none of it. I got it all on mute. God, I miss it so much, PA, but I'm still super stoked for the NBA Finals. It's going to be a blast, but yeah, I freaking missed that. It just lit the whole city up. It was on everybody's minds. It had us all dreaming and thinking that the title was within our reach, and it was a little bit further away than we thought, but
hey,
We still got it next year, baby.
You lit me up joining the pregame show a couple of times at Target Center and waiting for like a break or something and seeing the interaction with the fans between KFAN on the Skyway level at Target Center, how the fans were reacting to you and how they were reacting to the team. I love that, man. So I just wanted to have you come by and say what you did was hard. It was organic, not forced. You were put in a spot, and you crushed it. And that's wonderful, specifically in this day and age, man. Finding an identity in the entertainment business is not easy, and you did it. So great job. Congratulations. And can't wait to chat with you this summer.
I can't wait to chat with you again, PA. It's been so much fun. And yeah, the fans have been nothing but nice to me besides the 3 people that called me the N-word over the last couple of weeks. But otherwise, everybody else has been really, really nice to me. It's been organic, the connection. People are sending me videos of their kids yelling hootie hoo. All of a sudden, the TV stations know who a brother is. They didn't know my damn name a month ago. They're like, they typed in M.A. I thought they meant to type in Mark Rosen into the email section and just found my inbox by happenstance. So they didn't know who I was. And now I was, 2 weeks ago, I was on, let me stump for a second. I was on channel 4, 5, 9, and 11, baby.
Damn.
I was a TV star. I was on the radio station, man. It was so much fun. But like I said, I'm just happy to be a part of this team. I'm willing to play whatever role this team needs me to play. So
Great to have you on the team, man.
I'm happy to be here, man. So whenever it's my time, when I get the ball, I'm gonna try to make a play. Whether that's scoring or passing, I'm gonna try to make a play. You know what I'm saying? So
appreciate you. Always here for you.
Thanks, PA.
That's my man Maxwell Fuller. Great work with the Timberwolves. Also chatting with us about Justin Jefferson and the new deal he got with the Minnesota Vikings. That'll be a common thread through 9 to noon today on KFAN. Hip to the hop to the hibby hip.
Hi, Joe Martin from Reading, Pennsylvania. Just want to say, let's go! I am so happy. I can't wait to watch JJ to JJ and probably going to be seeing one of the best aerial performances in the NFL that we haven't seen since the greatest show on turf. That's right. I'm calling it. This is going to be the greatest show in Minnesota, guaranteed. Have a good one.
Sweet. Love it. We'll be there for it. Happy to share it. Happy to celebrate it and loathe it with everybody else. But, I mean, the air show with Justin before the grandiose deal was pretty good. I mean, in his first 4 years, he had nearly 6,000 yards. That's the most in the history of the NFL. You knew you were onto something with Justin Jefferson, who got together with the Vikings on an extended deal through the 2028 season. You knew you were onto something with JJ when, like, nearing the end of 2020 and then 2021-ish during that season, when the records he was cracking tied to the names, you just knew you were onto something big.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow, another Randy Moss team-related record has fallen. Oh, wait. Another Randy Moss NFL-related record has fallen. Oh, wait, he passed Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham Jr. with that catch? It was just like game after game, year after year, vibe after vibe. And he just kept cracking the records of luminaries. And some of those records, man, he had one record that he got last year or 2 years ago that I looked at it and I'm like, damn. I mean, how do you do that? That's just unbelievable, specifically when you got Thielen as a complimentary guy who's potentially a 100-catch guy. I mean, he's going to get his looks. And then when Jefferson played last year, you got Addison on a heater and Hawkinson also catching a lot of passes. So what he did, given those who were around him, and he was fortunate to have played with a high-end quarterback for the first X amount of years of his career, and Kirk Cousins. And Cousins very accurate, specifically intermediate and deep. Some of the throws that he would make that Justin would bring in weren't bad throws. Kirk, quite honestly, is as good as I've ever seen at throwing the ball to a place it absolutely has to go to not be intercepted. But it's not a bad pass, but it's an extremely difficult catch to make. See Hawkinson end of game LA Chargers a couple of years ago. That would just be one example. But Jefferson would bring them down. The Buffalo game is very first and foremost in my mind for some catches he made in that game and some hits he took.
Oh, that fourth down catch, the one arm bit, and just getting murdered in the lower back at times and still bringing him in.
How about when the punk Stephon Gilmore tried to end his life?
Oh, yeah.
At US Bank Stadium. I mean, you're down 33-0. You're on the comeback trail. Your Colts are starting to trip. And like Jefferson, the play was over, and he just absolutely tried to decapitate him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Justin's first and foremost on the minds of the punks and those who prosper as the very best players in the NFL. When you have a player around which opposing game plans are intended or are focused, well then, I mean, it's obvious unless that player is a problem off the field, unless that player is a problem in the locker room, or unless that player has a limitation around which you can't get, well, then you never let the player go. A, and B, for Justin, he just. We played a video where he, in essence, was announcing the deal, and I can't exactly, outside of people doubting him, and he dreamt about this deal, and he's happy to be here, and he thanked a bunch of people. It was cool. I don't know if he mentioned Cuz Buzz. I mean,
he didn't mention Kirk.
He's not in this position without Kirk Cousins. A, and B. Well, think about that. I mean, he goes from playing with Joe Burrow to Cousins, and. So Cousins aided him in that, but Kevin O'Connell becoming the head coach, a pass-first, offensive-minded head coach, I mean, it was just a perfect storm for Justin Jefferson to get this deal. Plus, he's gifted in a way few are, and he had to come through with his part of the deal, making the catches, bouncing back when the punk Stephon Gilmore tries to decapitate you, patience and waiting. So congratulations to everybody involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned the guys around him, too, because that's part of it. Like the evolution when you become a star, and he got onto the radar early and often, right? The debut, his first touchdown of the year, his third game, I think, against Tennessee in 2020.
Still the longest reception of his career, 71 yards.
It is? Okay. So he's on people's radar at the end of 2020. You mentioned teams are very good at game planning for a guy. Offense is game planning people open. Defense is planning to stop a superstar. But he didn't stop. The production didn't stop. They are running double coverage, bracketing. They're doing whatever they can. And we've seen him not every game's been 152 scores, but for the most part, he had to grow along with that. We're going to figure out how to stop you. Well, now I'm going to get better, and I'm going to make it even tougher. And so having Addison in the mix, and Addison was an absolute stud while JJ was recovering from injury. But when JJ's on the field, it takes one moment. It takes 1 yard to get open. He's as electrifying as it gets, and he has evolved along with the league in their attempts to stop him. He's a bona fide star. There was no way in heck that they were going to let him just go somewhere else. I mean, it sounds ridiculous on its face now that this thing's officially done. So
no doubt.
He's earned his dollars. He got paid, and now we get to just, we get to go, this is awesome. Now let's go try and win football games. But how about this, PA? This will be the first time in his career that ultimately, save for the back end of last year, I played a touchdown that he took from Nick Mullins. But this will be the first time in his career now that you're not talking about established, high-end, consistent, stable quarterback play. And so you give Jefferson that money. Now, as Vikings fans,
that's a good point.
You have to be patient and watch what Sam Darnold's going to offer, eventually a young J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
And now you have to be patient and watch that thing grow. So I hope Vikings fans put this in perspective, that J.J. is elite. J.J.'s as good as it gets. And now, he wouldn't be where he is without Kirk. Well, JJ, as his growth period, JJ McCarthy, he's going to be looking at number 18, and he's going to. That's part of that responsibility now in raising this young QB, and it's going to be a very interesting process.
Maybe Justin was full throttle to sign the deal now.
I always love that one.
Yeah.
When 9 to noon continues, we have one of a couple of heartwarming stories. And with all due respect, signing a $18 zillion deal, that's not a heartwarming story. Congratulations. It's congratulatory. It's well-earned, and it's cool to find finality, if that's what you were looking for, between the team and the player. But heartwarming stories, in my estimation, are different than that. And we have 2 coming up today, one at 10 and one at 11. And the first is around the corner on KFAN.